Boden. I'm here today with the lovely Katie. It's your first time in video. She's very excited. And we're doing kind of a weird autopsy. This is not unlike the one we did for the Great Pumpkin, where it was, hey, let's just quick thrash on this thing. We're cleaning out the chemistry lab, and we have a couple of pieces of equipment to decommission. This one, I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to let you guys comment and see if you can figure out what it is, and that'll be kind of fun. This is a pretty awesome piece of equipment, but the pieces are greater than the sum of their parts as far as we're concerned. The actual machine isn't of any use to us because it's missing a lot of pieces and it requires a large amount of support equipment. So for us, what we're going to get out of this is a vacuum pump, two really nice vacuum pumps down here, lots of high voltage radio frequency stuff, and tons of vacuum bits, which are in high demand for us here at the Geek Group. This long term, a lot of parts of this you'll probably see in a fuser project coming up, which will be pretty cool. We're building a new one. But this particular autopsy, unlike most of our autopsies which are purely exploratory, this one we're actually going through this because we want parts out of this. So it makes a lot more sense for some of you at home where a lot of you guys taking things apart aren't doing it just because you want to learn how it works. I certainly applaud that. But a lot of people take things apart because, hey, I can use this thing. For us, it's the vacuum pumps and the bits and pieces like that. So we're actually going shopping here today. So enjoy the show. And you get to help. And you're not at all self-conscious about being on camera. You're totally comfortable. And in no way paying attention to the thousands of people who are watching you right now.
Here, help.
Alright, so this is going to be kind of weird because usually when we do an autopsy it's very one-sided. But because there's so much all around, we're going to be turning this a lot because we want them to be able to see. And you guys are just going to be okay with the fact that we have Steven in the shot a lot because he's going to be doing camera work stuff. So, let's start. I have this big lever that, as we've been taking this apart, I'll turn around so that they can see. But I have this big lever right here that I've been wanting to open since we first took the cover off, just because I want to see what happens. Because there's like 3 different danger stickers on this. So it just says open push. Let's see what happens. Oh, the whole thing moves. I have opened the chamber. Oh, wow. And there's nothing there. It's a little tiny pinhole. That's it. Okay, but we opened it and we have seen inside. And I'm going to close it because we're going to be working on the back. Okay? Oh, we could start. We'll start down here. Let's get these out because there's a lot of weight here. And things are probably going to drain down because there will be oil and stuff, so be aware of that. There may be goop. Okay? Because you're dealing with vacuum pumps. Vacuum fittings are really easy to work with. Oh, the whole thing's jiggly. Find the Allen wrench that fits these. And take those off, please. And we'll want to disconnect. We'll want to find out where that. I'm going to chase this wire and figure that out. Don't take off those, take off these. If you look under it, see the little rubber feet? Yeah. Okay, you're just going to take that out, and there will be 2 on the inside as well. Okay, you do that, I'm going to chase the wire. Goes back here. Oh, that's very convenient. How about that? That's very nice. Ooh, hey, check it out. Vacuum pump thing's busted. Right here. See that? This is the strainer leaf going into there. Here's the power feed. And you can see that that's broken off there. So, where does this wire go? Oh, well, we don't. I don't know what this is, but we don't need it. Where's the other end? In there on the blower thing. Okay. Tubes. I'm just going to unplug all of these. Because they're all coming on anyway. Okay, you get an X side, and I'll disconnect the vacuum fittings like this. So vacuum fittings are really easy to work with. I like vacuum. I don't get to play with vacuum stuff very often, but I like it when I do. And it's just a wing nut or some type of fastener here on most vacuum fittings. And you just loosen this, and then it'll swing out, and then the whole thing comes off in a little collar. Now there's frequently some little widgy bits inside, and you want to be careful not to lose them. And don't let anything get dirty. Vacuum stuff is very, very fanatical about wanting to be clean. Oh, look in there. Look at that. Well, that's staying with it. But you see that? See the little, I don't want to touch it because I could screw it up, but those are, it's like a heart valve in how it works. And then this is a heavily machine. In fact, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this back, because that's really delicate. That's delicate and probably expensive. So I'm going to put this back on, and what we'll do is we'll take the hose off, and I'll leave the fitting there to protect it. Can you give me a straight blade screwdriver, please? Oh, I'm going to play how fitting it in there. Let's see it now. Okay, I have to take this off, because I can't get a screwdriver in there. And carefully pop this around, and then take this off the block. Because this is just a plastic hose, and I don't really care about it so much. Okay, and then I can put this back here, and that'll protect the little valves. Like that. And that just goes finger snug. You don't need to reef them down. Now, can you reach that? There's a big thing here. Okay, so we take this out and do the same exact thing we did a minute ago. Now this will be the intake of the pump, because by the way the little heart valves were facing, that tells me the other side is output. Also, it's conveniently labeled here, out, in, for smart people that are into that fancy book learning, reading and stuff. I don't bother myself with such thing. Good comic book readers on me. Okay, hold on to that. Oh, don't do that. Okay, hold on tight. Oh, come off of there. This one's a little bit more enthusiastically attached. Ah! Oh, it's coming. There you go. And I didn't fall over. Okay. So we make sure there isn't any little bit of hair in there or anything. Alright. And this is a cool fitting. You've got like a rubber bit mounted on metal. Set that on there. And we're going to turn this so it's into the pump. And we'll put on, we want that to go that way. Just put that in there. Now, you took out the bolts, and we just connected the wires. Alright, so this pump should come right out this side. So grab that end, and don't worry about that. Grab the pump low here, don't grab under here because you hurt your fingers. But grab the pump, the metal body of the pump. Oh, really? Okay. There. And we got a pump. So set that back there, that's our first prize. Yay, pump! And now we start on the next pump. Okay. I'm going to start disconnecting vacuum stuff. Okay, we don't have to take out the bolts. Lift that piece out. That's the mounts they sit on. The pumps aren't actually bolted to the mounts. They just sit there. Because I can pick this pump right up out of the mount. Alright. Follow the wire to this pump and make sure it's disconnected. It should be. Now this is going to be a little different than the other. This pump's got a really big filter in it. Oh, hey, how about that? The filter isn't actually held together all that much. Go on your time. Okay, so I'm going to take the filter out like so. You gotta be careful. The whole top of the filter is just held in by the tension of the O-ring, and it was just sitting there. It wasn't actually pushed down, engaged to the O-ring. There's that. That's pretty. I want to put that on my computer for a water cooling rig so bad. Alright, holding both ends, and watch out for the goop on top. Set that in one of the totes, please. Now, I've heard conflicting opinions. Some people tell me that you're supposed to stuff a paper towel in there to keep it from, debris from getting in there. And some people tell me that dust from the paper towel is enough to screw up the pump. I honestly don't know which is better. What I'm going to do is just put a piece of paper over it and a rubber band around it or something like that, or a bit of a rubber glove and a rubber band around the thing. So we'll do that in a bit. Grab the back. This whole thing should come right out. You got it? We're going to pivot towards you. There. So this pump, well, this one has a switch right on it. What do we know about it? It's type AEMB. Wants 123 volts, which is kind of weird. 0.75 kilowatts. It'll run on 220 or 240 if it has to. And the pump itself, because this is just the motor, the pump itself doesn't really tell us much. It says hydrocarbon oil. And on the front, it's made by Trivac, Leibold vacuum out of Germany. Type S25B. Debit volume flow rate is 25 meters an hour. Ultimate pressure is, it's hard to read, less than 2.5 times 10 to the negative 2. So, cool. Alright, set that back with the other one, and that's our first two pumps to start everything off. You got it? Yes. Cool. Alright, what's next? We've got this big box.
Steve, back up a bit. I don't know what you're doing, but since we're not filming, get out of my shot.
Alright. So this is, and we can see here, this is a Leibold TurboVac 361, and it runs at 750 hertz, which is kind of a problem because we don't have 750 hertz. America runs on 60 hertz. But we were smart, and we saved the cable, this, and the power supply. That wants to fall over really bad. And the power supply for this. So we can power this up. We're cool. Now this is kind of a cool thing. This is a turbomolecular vacuum pump. We can plug that cable into here, and plug the box into the cable, plug it into the wall, hit the button, start, cool. And it will instantly destroy itself in like less than a minute. Completely destroy itself, be junk in under a minute. Because this pump is designed to only work when it's already under a really good vacuum, which is why you have these. This is the roughing pump. And because this is designed to work at, this thing spins at just ridiculously high speeds. And if there's air in there to make it spin so fast, they have to make the internal parts really, really light. And air is really thick. And at full atmospheric pressure, if you spin this up, the vanes will warp, and they'll bend, and they'll move, and now they're on a balance and spinning at like a billion RPM, and it just, and it makes a very expensive sound, and then it doesn't work anymore. We get to Autopsy, a turbomolecular vacuum pump. But I've already got a turbomolecular vacuum pump sitting in high voltage that we can Autopsy, so we don't want to destroy this one. And we only have one of these. And it's really cool for a reason, so we're not going to plug this in right now. Down here, I want to get a look. So let's flip this. Can you lay this back on its back gently?
Pause. You did not communicate the entire video was taking place behind us now.
Sorry about that. It's not. I'm going to be going back to that in a minute.
Well, it doesn't do me much good that half that
Okay.
is now junk.
Okay. All right. So let's lay it back. And just don't drop it. Okay, now we can read that one. Okay, so, ooh, this might be a little baby turbomolecular vacuum pump. This says it's a Leibold TurboVac 50 A9711. I'm guessing the serial number is 00365. And then it's 854 space 01. Yeah, that's only got 3 wires to it, so that's really simple. And this doesn't have any weird mojo, so we need to learn about this. I'll take a picture of this and post it online and see what you guys think. But either this is a little baby turbomolecular pump, or it's some kind of other, like an ion pump or something like that. But it doesn't look right to be an ion pump, so I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. But this is our vacuum goodies, and that's really cool. And we'll get to explore these in future videos and projects, because between these and these, we have a lot of the hard parts for building a fuser. So that's really, really cool. And when we're done after the shoot, we'll come back and we'll seal these all up with rubber bands or rubber gloves and stuff, and just make sure that nothing goes inside. So we've got that side done. Now, that thing on the back has a sign that says RF generator. So there's high voltage in there somewhere, and I haven't seen it yet. I've seen a lot of high vacuum, but I haven't seen anything high voltage. So I think that box on the side has secret hidden treasure inside. So let's go for that.
Pause.
Take a moment and I'll mop up the water, you sweep the floor. Don't kick those, I want those. Those are precision parts of a Faraday shield.
Good.
Don't push the dust through the oil.
Yes.
Let me see, now you just made a paintbrush. Hang on a minute, where's the paper towel? Where's the paper towel?
Behind you guys.
Yeah. Huh?
See? Planning and editing.
Oh. There's a level of cleaning we do during the video shoot, which is get it the hell out of the way, and then there's cleaning we do after the video shoot, which is Batman swearing at me for an hour. Alright, so let's bring this out here. Now, we got a box here, and you can see around the edges these little fingers. See those, the little tiny fingers? Those are going to be a coppery spring, probably. Copper or brass, kind of springy. Now these look like they just latch open, but they don't. You have to actually take them apart. And those springs there are there to ensure a good electrical connection from the lid to the box, which tells us this is designed to be a Faraday shield. And a Faraday cage is kind of a cool thing. If you walk into the high voltage leg and stick your hand out and try to catch the output of a big Tesla coil, you'll die, screaming, it'll be bad. But if you are inside a box, like we stuff you inside a dryer, a tumble dryer, and we set the tumble dryer in there, and as long as the lid on the dryer is electrically connected, and the lightning can hit the box, and you're inside the box, you're totally fine. Because while the voltage on the outside of the box might be a couple million volts, if you're inside the box, the voltage to you is 0. This is how you've experienced this. Like if you've ever walked across a carpeted room and touched a doorknob and get zapped. Well, the reason that happened, you walking across the carpeted room did not raise the voltage of the doorknob. What you did is built up a static charge on you. So you raised your voltage up to like 50,000 volts, which is really easy to do with static electricity. And when you reached out and you touched the doorknob, all the voltage you had built up, all the charge you had, grounded out to the doorknob. The voltage to you was 0. The voltage to the doorknob was like 50,000 volts. Voltage is a measurement of difference. You can't have just like, you can't have 5 volts. It has to be 5 volts relative to something. 99% of the time that's relative to ground, like the earth. But if you don't have the reference, you don't have a voltage. It's a measurement of a difference. Just like pressure is a measurement of difference. So, we've got our hinges off. Let's see what divine magic lies within it. So the best way to get around these, because there's nothing to grab now, we took all the stuff off, is don't lever like that because you push the door closed, and you don't want to damage these little pins because we might be able to use this box, because we are shopping here, we're not just trying to stuff away. So lever in like that, just pop it off, there. It's a really good seal. Ooh, don't lose it. And we'll open this one. There. Oh, hey, it gets even better. Alright, so right away we see a lot more made in Canada. I think this box came from Canada. This looks like the top of some kind of tube, like a vacuum tube of some sort. And then we've got an inductor here. An inductor here. This might be a little capacitor. That might be a capacitor. I don't know what this is. This might be an antenna or something. No, this might be a capacitor because I see output terminals up here going up into this. Can you get this cover off while I take some things apart down in here? This is going to be fun. This is going to be just fun and easy. Totally easy. I have no idea how to get into here. ICP controller. Can I see it a second? It's a tube. I see a tube socket from the bottom.
Steve, go back where you were, Chris. Turn it around.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Hey, here, take a look. So on top, we have the little fins in the circle. And on the bottom, we have that arrangement. You can see there's sleeves and pins. I don't know what it is, but I know that it is a vacuum tube. I just don't know what kind. But it's easy to figure that out because we can set this down and not crimp the leads. And this will come out if, where's that? Just loosen this clamp. And that clamp, if we take a screwdriver, wedge it open a little bit. That's the tube. And the tube is made by iMac, who makes a lot of vacuum tubes. It's very heavy. Like this whole top is heat sink. And it is a 3CX1500D3. And it says danger, danger. The reason this says danger, danger is this tube, very likely, judging by this, contains chemicals that you really don't want to cut into this. Because in doing it might have beryllium or something like that for the count. But there will be a hazard sheet for this, and with that number, we can look this up online and find out exactly what kind of tube this is and what it does and how it works and everything. So, and we know that we have a power supply here designed to feed this tube. This is probably, this whole arrangement, I'm pretty sure, is some manner of very high power radio frequency power supply, which is kind of cool because in our high voltage lab we play with Tesla coils, which are high power radio frequency power supplies. So this may very likely have applications in Tesla coil stuff. However, as you can see by the soot, and you look around here and you see the soot everywhere, right? This probably went through the building having a fire, when we had a fire a couple of years ago, and this soot may be building soot. I don't know for sure. It may just be schmoo from its normal operation. And you can see that 1 and 4 makes kind of a smiley face. So when you put it back in there, you gotta line that up. And you can see it pretty low even. So I just line this up going in there. Yeah, you gotta tell me if I'm in. Because I can't really see it. Am I lined up?
A little Some of the rest of the run.
Your confidence is really good. Oh, okay, like that. I'll just push it in. And then once you got that in, you tighten this down, and that holds it in. Now this assembly here is called the chimney, and there's a fan right here, this blower, and its whole purpose in life is to blow air across and then up the chimney and out through these fans. And the heat sinks here work the same way as a heat sink on a computer processor. It's the same thing, it's just that gets really, really hot, and you need to get the heat out somewhere. Vacuum tubes are really cool, like they're really neat to watch work, but they're usually very inefficient. Okay, so that's nice and tight. And we have this thing and its little inductor and this inductor. So this probably makes some kind of tuned circuit, which would make sense with a radio frequency power supply. So we'll keep that. We don't care about the blower. This is neat though, so let's see what we have here. This is a 7.5 kV DC, that means 1000 volts direct current, and it says 200 PF plus or minus 20%. So that's 200 picofarads, which is a farad is a unit of capacitance. Picofarad is really, really tiny. A farad, 1 farad is just insanely big. So this is, usually you see microfarads, in this case we're down into picofarads. So this is a capacitor rated for 7,500 volts at 200 picofarads, plus or minus 20%, so that's its manufacturing tolerance. It's kind of cool. We'll keep that with it. So there's this other arrangement up here, which I'm not sure about. I think these are Teflon insulators. There's a little heat sensor up here. We've got our feed-through bushings. Alright, you keep digging this out, because there's something happening in there. And I'm going to try and get the big iron on the bottom down here. How easy that's going to be. Because this is packed in here pretty tight. Oh, that works. It's the wrong size. Where's the rest of these? Oh, cool. Yeah? Where? Oh, I've got that one. This is neat. There's 2 screws on the outside of the box that go to this strap that hold this capacitor in. And the screws are on the outside of the box because otherwise there's no way you can reach in there. And once you take the capacitor out, which is a 6,000 volt 6 microfarad cap. Oh, there's a couple of them. Well, you're not going back down yet. Okay, so we talked about this capacitor, and this holds 7,500 volts, 200 picofarads, right? This only holds 6,000 volts, but it holds 6 microfarads. And you can tell the voltage of a capacitor by how big its little insulators are. Like if it's got big insulators on it, that's higher voltage. But you can see that it takes a lot more volume with the foil.